Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, a new EDC budget knife from Todd Knife and Tool. We take a look at the new concept Prêt-à-Tout in micarta. So happy to have that one. And then in the state of the knife world, that's what we're going to talk about. What's on your mind in March 2022 about knives, the knife world? What are you looking forward to? What have you gotten so far? We're a quarter of the way through the year now. So what are you thinking? How's 2022 going? Before we get to any of that, of course, a pocket check. Dave, hello, sir. We have This Old Sword Blade reviews with us. We have Dave. Dave is the man that donated tonight's Patreon Gentleman Junkie giveaway knife. So we're excited to give that away. I'll give a little tease to it right now. Hey, Byron, how's it going? Happy St. Patrick's Day. Oh, my goodness. This was unplanned, but the knife itself is green. Red Astrachan, good to have you here. Good evening, sir, he says. Well, good evening to you. Look at this beauty. We're giving this thing away tonight. Gentleman Junkie, who is lucky enough to get picked on the Wheel of Destiny. This is the Petrified Fish PF-PO2. Blade Ogre, how's it going? I think I missed the last person who was up. David, how's it going? We have 9198 David. Hello, all. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I do apologize for not bringing that up front, David. Good evening to you, sir. That it is St. Patrick's Day, and it used to be one of my favorite holidays when I lived 2 floors above an Irish bar and restaurant in New York. That was fun. Always. Evening, Bob and Jim, says Michael Morgan. Michael, good to have you here with that blacked out Yo Jumbo. Index Knives, good to have you, Index. Hi, he says. We can barely see you, Index. Lonely Stacker 777 is just smiling. And I'm with you, man. I am with you. So I'm going to put away this petrified fish, but I thought while Dave was around, we would show this thing off. On the Edge 72, good to see you. Bob Shaved, that's right. I got a wild hair. It's usually 6 months, and it was exactly about 6 months. It's usually right around my wife's birthday. Adam Boyd, good to have you here, Adam. Hello, he says. Usually around my wife's birthday, I start growing it, and usually about 6 months later, which is pretty much to the week, I get an urge to shave it off. Hero Sticks, good to see you here, Hero. He's got a box in the mail to me. I'm excited. I am excited. Look for another batch of sweet knives. Just like I have a couple on loan from Dave right now. I still got to make those videos, Dave. I'm sorry. It's just been crazy being Mr. Mom and Dad this week. Bobby, you look 17 years younger. Wow, what a transformation. Thank you, Lonely Stacker. That's funny. My daughters have learned through the years that when I shave, if they just say for a week, like, Dad, you look like you're 30. I'm like, oh, sure, you can have ice cream or whatever it is. So easy. I'm so easy. Michael Morgan says the Petrified Fish magazine. Oh yeah, well yeah, right. It looks like a clip, doesn't it? I'm sorry. Did I say I meant magazine? It looks like a magazine. Also like a banana. A little bit, excuse me, as mentioned. Hero Stick says, Bob, got the box headed your way tomorrow, my friend. Oh, sweet, man. Thank you. I look forward to it whenever. I know how hard it is to get to the post office. Mark Ridgewell, good to have you here, Mark. Top of the morning to you, boys. Well, top of the morning to you on this St. Patty's Day. I'm drinking water. K Willen 19, good to have you here, K Willen. Hello, Bob, Jim, and Knife Peeps. Is that you, Bob? Yes. Under the gray shield is this is what lies beneath. Shane says, hello, Bob and Jim. Hello, Shane. It's great to have you here. K Mason says, hello, babyface Bob, Jim, and fellow Ike-mo-maniacs. I love it. Ike-mo-maniac. That's someone who has an extra special thing for knives. Bob, you a straight razor guy? Okay, funny. I'm glad you asked. No, not yet. But I remember long before I could shave, when I was, I don't know, 12. I was probably like a tween, 11, 12, 13. I was going through this phase where I was getting GQ magazine, and I was like, a gentleman this and a gentleman does that. And, a gentleman drives a Bentley and wears a Piaget watch. So when I'm 25 or so, when I'm old enough, that's what I'll have. And part of that was straight razor shaving, because you saw that all over the pages of 80s GQ, like anyone actually did it. I maybe, but not the stockbrokers that they were saying were doing that. But still, that sunk into my mind. And of course, yeah, I think I'm going to try that this year. Byron says, kudos, Dave. That's the magazine. Nice, he says. Byron, also a pleasure to have you here, Byron. Uh, uh, I know what you're carrying. No, I don't know what you're carrying, but I do know you might have. Know what you might have on you. Mike Oxlong says, "Yo, dropped like a St. Patrick's Day. Dropped a like happy Saint. Thank you, man. Mike Oxlong, good to have you here. Sorry that came out stuttering. Ed Harrison, good to have you here, Ed Harrison. I love your movie work. I mean, JN says, "What's up, everybody? What's up?" Or I'm sorry, what up, Bob and Jim? JN, good to have you here, man. Good to see you. Wagstaff 613. I'm late. Sorry. Who's this guy hosting tonight? Yeah, it's Bob's brother. Much younger, much handsomer. Bob, I've checked with my loaners and they say stay a few more days. Thank you, man. Thank you. They're sitting in a place of honor right here on the table. Especially that button lock. I really like this knife right here. This is Dave's, but I will get one when they release it. I love this thing when they re-release it. Bobby boy, says Michael Morgan. When I was a kid, my cousins used to call me Bobby old baby. And I always thought that was funny. But now that I'm older, I'm like, what? Did I grow up in the Rat Pack? Caleb Townsend, good to have you here, Caleb. Howdy, he says. Caleb's got an awesome collection. I know all you guys do, but right now I'm just thinking of the one time Caleb came on and he was showing off some acquisitions. It was cool. Manny Z, good to have you here, Manny. Hey, Bob and Jim, says Manny. Manny, top of the morning to you, sir. All right, so let me show you what I was carrying this very same day. It was old school carry today. Two things. One of them was the ZT0620. I always forget the number, so I have to look. This is one of my few LMAX blades, the beautifully designed Emerson zero tolerance collaboration. When this came out, it was LMAX and S35VN. The S35VN was the higher level. This one had a really boring black G10 handle with some generic slots milled in. The fancier one was the S35VN version, and it had a carbon fiber scale and an uncoated blade, and it had just gorgeous grind lines. And that is one thing about this that I missed, though. The aftermarket scale, this olive drab canvas micarta scale with the sort of dull black blade, really, I think is cool. I put up an original Emerson Parkerized clip on there from another knife, and I really love this thing. I've had it for quite a while, and it was that knife that came out. And hey, Steel Oven, good to have you. So while I'm here, I'm going to finish the sentence, but stay right there, Steel. When this knife came out, and also the 0630, people were saying ZT makes Emerson's better than Emerson's. That was sort of the little mantra. And I remember when that came out, I love that thing. But still, Emerson's are Emerson's and ZTs are ZTs. But I think the twain meets well, or whatever. Can I see Steel Oven's comment? Now I'll say right now, thank you, Steel. He is a new gentleman junkie. Steel Ovan. He will be entered in to win the petrified fish tonight. And who knows? You never know who's going to win. I know we've had some repeat winners, but we use a random number generator that is set up on a wheel, and we spin it, and boom, randomly someone is selected. Today, let's see, I have 25 Gentleman Junkie members, so that's what we'll be doing in just a few minutes. But Steel, I want to thank you so much for your patronage. Thank you so much for joining us and being a part of the conversation, but also for your invaluable monetary support. It's greatly appreciated, sir. But also be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and know that any amount of support, even just sitting, listening, and enjoying is great support, and sharing it, getting some other nerd involved. I mean, some other knife lover involved would be great. Just make sure they know what's up with the steels and that they don't like certain steels and that kind of thing. Caleb Townsend says, my collection has started to get smaller. he says, crying. What do you mean started to get smaller? That sounds like it's happening passively. Caleb, what are you doing? You are in charge of your collection. Now, are you selling off to are you trading up, or are you losing interest, or are you discovering that perhaps you sank a little bit too much money into your hobby? And that happens. We all do that. We overbuy and then we have to sell some off, that kind of thing. So tell me what's going on. I want to know. On the Edge 72, good to see you. Is it too late to sign up to be a gentleman junkie before the giveaway? Certainly not, sir. Certainly not. I'm pretty sure. Well, I say that, Jim, you can probably put on the Edge 72 on the wheel, can you not? I'm sure it can be done. On the Edge, that generosity would be so greatly appreciated. You don't even know. But anyway, maybe you're asking for a friend, or maybe it's just a hypothetical question. But I'm glad you asked it. Next, my fixed blade carry today was this. I said old school and I meant it. Probably the first fixed blade I carried regularly, and that is the Tops Knives Felony Stop, a pistol grip dagger. I love this thing. It's got a dagger blade. Let's see if we can get some good. You can sort of see how it's got a medial ridge, and it's got two even bevels and a super sharp, though thick behind the edge blade. But I mean, like, this is not for slicing things. This is for making gaping wounds, and also for trapping. When you hold this thing in reverse grip, it presents the blade at an excellent angle for hammer fist and just jabbing and punching, because you don't have to torque your wrist so much. But also you get this thumb swale that's so heavily jimped on the back end for trapping and trapping your opponent's limbs and that kind of thing. Really cool knife. Also traction coated 1095 steel, quarter-inch thick. Shane says, since I switched to mostly US made, my collection has shrunk by 100 or more. That's very admirable. I got to say, for a while, that's kind of what was happening. That was the trend in my collecting, and yeah, I kept I would like. I have a whole section. My top shelf is all American made, and it's all of my highest prized knives. Let me put it that way. I haven't been able to get rid of too much that I already had, and now I'm acquiring more stuff that I didn't think I would get, like the concept knives. I ordinarily appreciate them, but pass on them. But the K Maxrom designed concepts, I just love his designs, and I can't. He does. Custom stuff that I can't quite afford. Caleb says, selling off but buy 100, Shane, that is incredibly impressive, because I sell off 2 or 3 knives and I think, wow, I'm like Mother Teresa over here, just like saving my budget. But 100, that's pretty impressive. Caleb says, selling off what I don't use or carry anymore, about to buy my first house. Oh, there you go. Not selling anything I'd missed too bad. Well, Caleb, send me an email of what you don't carry anymore. I'm just curious, and who knows, you might have a buyer sitting right in front of you. Sometimes in life, what you're looking for is right in front of your eyes. Dino N, good to see you. I made it. What's up, Bob? Well, what's up to you, sir? It looks like a sweet Jeep you got there. Do you take that out into the wilderness? I'm amazed by people who do and use winches and such to get themselves in and out of sticky situations. Alex, good to see you here. We have Alex from the Knife Box channel. Hope everyone is having a great evening. Alex, I hope you're having a wonderful evening over there on the West Coast. It is good to see your name pop up. Tops Felony Stop. Yes, that's what I was carrying. By the way, what I really do like about this thing is that handle is so nicely rounded, not only on the pommel, but the whole shape of it in that pistol grip, that it nestles into my love handles quite kindly. And you can even see it's kind of bulbous from that angle too. Curious, Alex, what you're carrying, man. Just one more post. You got to let me know what you're carrying. I'm sure it's something outrageously sweet. And this is another gentleman, I think, who has done quite a bit of reducing and refining. And I always appreciate that concept and sentiment. And I know at some point I will mature to the point where I am doing that on a more regular basis instead of just talking about it, which I have been doing for about 2.5 years now. Okay, so that's what I was carrying today. Let me know what you had on you. Did you have the felony stop on you? Or perhaps did you have the 0620 by zero tolerance? Probably not, but let me know. I'm curious. Every once in a while, we'll do a pocket check here, and people will all be carrying. Like 2 weeks ago, I think it was the shaman. Everyone had a shaman Rex 45 version. Here, all these different versions of the shaman. I thought that was pretty cool. Something in the air, you know what I mean? So let me know what you're carrying. And while you're digging around in your pockets trying to figure this out, I wanted to show off a couple of really cool knives. I'm going to go into them in greater depth on Wednesday's supplemental show, and I'll do some breakout videos of these probably over the weekend, I hope. But these, I just had an interview with Brian Brown, and he's just a cool dude. As some of you may know, I assumed he was, but just a great guy. Had a wonderful conversation with him, and he sent me some loaners of his knives to check out. Dave says, "Ooh, today carrying my Bastinelli Chopper, his chopper. That is such a cool knife. Trailing point, fixed blade, accompanied by the Best Tech Swordfish, Knife Center exclusive S35VN and Tuxedo, black and white G10 handle. I do not own a Tuxedo knife. I was hoping my first one would be the Terzuola ATCF ProTech, but that's some classy carry there. Excuse me, Dave has a nice little collection of Bastinelli knives, and he just got the chopper, a knife that a good friend of mine swears by. And it is a really cool, nice, slender, trailing point fixed blade that is light enough to carry all day long. Blade Ogre, Chris. Okay. All right. Get your list out, people. Carrying the ProTech Bren 3. We love that. The Hinderer XM18 recurve. I know that's got the blue handle or the blue G10. That is a sweet looking knife. Southern Grind, Bad Monkey. The Spyderco Shaman. The J.E. made Lanny's Clip. Oh, we talked about that. And the newest edition, Spyderco Manix 2 lightweight. Very nice. Again, 6 knife carry. Chris's game is on point all the time. And I'm guessing he wears suspenders, and that's my dad joke. I mean, that's almost like a grandpa joke, actually. Excuse me. Shane says, Benchmade Super Freak and my Native Salt. I always kind of wanted a Super Freak and Native Salt. Cool. The Sea Snake, love the Sea Snake, designed by Mike Emler, is Mark's fixed blade carry, and a Kubi 322, aka Budget Areas. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know which one you're talking about. Okay, so I just my older daughter. Speaking of that Kubi, I was just haunting the Kubi pages on Amazon, among others. Tim Simcoe, good to see you here. I just got an Emerson Mach 1 today, nice, and found its way right into my pocket. Gee, imagine that, Tim. Nice snag there. Caleb Townsend says, today I had the Keennison NF Stray and Serge Panchenko mid-tech bean. I do like that mid-tech bean. And the Keennison, I can't picture that. I got to say, I know his name, and I know it's been recommended I should get him on the show, but I need to find out about this knife. Walt Gilbert, thank you, sir. I have never sold or traded a knife. I love that. I love hearing that. I do have a mix of U.S. and Chinese made knives, but I love all of them. I'm with you, man. And I am going to give you a salute here with, oh, this is a good one. This is a special one. A classic. This is for you, Walt Gilbert, with this SOG Super Bowie. Look at that. This is just a classic. I would love to have a sub collection of Mac V SOG Bowies. I think it's, as far as the SOG brand, it's the best knife they make by a million miles, in my estimation. But also, Bark River Knives makes a whole bunch of different. It's a pattern, and a whole bunch of different people make it. and I would love to have a sub collection of it. And not for nothing, it would be cool to have one with a sharpened swedge. But anyway, Walt Gilbert, thank you so much, sir. Greatly appreciated. All right. Michael Morgan carrying a cold steel airlight drop point. Michael, how do you like that thing? It was just on. I was just lurking around Blade forums, and there was one of that exact description for $40, and I was like, yeah, it never really turned my head, but for $40, and then I just kept moving. So, what do you think? Should I have gotten it? It's probably still there. Do you like it? I mean, obviously you do, but is it worth it? Obviously, you think it is. Tell me your impressions of it. I'm having an argument with myself. Bob just JN says Kapara. Oh, nice. Kapara, Eldris, uh, ODGPM to appease the pinchers. ODG. ODGPM2. ODG. Oh God, I'm old and clueless. What can I say? Tell me what ODG means. Adam says, I'm carrying the Chris Voyager XL. Nice. Wait. And a serrated Vaquero Voyager. And the CRKT Provoke with VEF serrations. I like those VEF serrations. Here, I got a couple of cold steels right here that are kind of in line with what you were saying. Close enough with the Chris. And then I got this out. Tonight I felt like, oh, I'm sorry. That sounded terrible. Tonight I felt like having a couple of exotic cold steel blades on hand for just such an occasion. So thank you, sir. Adam, that was much appreciated. Steel says, carrying my XM18 and a fixed blade I made. Ooh, I love it. I'd love to see that fixed blade that you made. I love seeing the knives people are making. Like Jamie White sent me a couple. Very, very cool. I know I have another implement on the way, which I'm very excited to check out. Patina, if you're there. 9198 David, good to see you. Oh, I already greeted you, but I'll say it again. Good to see you. Carried my cold steel Formax. Excellent choice. PM2 in 204P. That's a steel that you don't hear much frequently, but it's right. That's a Carpenter steel, right? It's the same as M390 and 20 CV, something like that. And and the Switch. I love the Switch. Today, all three in Yosemite today. Wow, used all three in Yosemite. Man, alive. You're out there where I would love to be. That sounds beautiful. Yeah, that sounds cool. Stay safe out there, just stay safe out there. I hope you're armed. Byron Kennedy says, it's a holiday for me, Bob, so carried a green Red Rider tadpole. Oh, very nice, a.k.a. Angry Watermelon and Grumpy Gherkin, and the Hinderer Ek Dagger. Oh, that sounds awesome. I'm loving these fully endorsed Hinderer replicas of classic battle classics, like the Ek Dagger that Byron's carrying. Oh my gosh, man. I want that so bad. I mean, that's a cool. And then he did that K-bar, fully endorsed by K-bar, like the first time ever. And those are so sweet. If anyone should make them, I'm happy to see him making them. Lonely Stacker said, still carrying the CRKT Ritual every day. Now that's that big giant Persian blade. Also sort of a tuxedo setup, but sort of that 80s tuxedo with the blue instead of the black. Even blinks on my other blades. Wait. Nobody even blinks at my other blades, but I carry it for protecting my jewelry and because I love its exquisite form. So, okay, I'm going to get particular here, and maybe it's none of my business. Protecting your jewelry. Does that mean you collect jewelry and you like to wear it and show it? Or are you a jeweler or like a dealer, diamond dealer, something like that, and you're walking around with lots of jewels? Curious. Ty Addiction, good to have you here, Ty Addiction. The F3 flipper, Curtis. It looks like Cuttis, but I think that's just a typo. Unless Cuttis is making a ripoff F3 flipper. I'm just kidding. The Curtis F3 flipper, awesome choice. Now, Ty, I have never held one of those, but I've always admired them. They kind of bubbled up to the surface around the time Hinderer did or that time to me, like, or when Les George first VSEP came out, kind of earlier. And I always remember thinking that their Tanto was extra cool, and their pivot that looks kind of like a compass. I always thought that was really cool. So nice carry, sir. That's long for sweet carry. Quillen19 says Kaiser Justice today. I've been loving Kaisers. Today, I was just looking for the Towser K, but that Justice, that's a nice choice. Big Perm says, I also carried the best tech. Hey, Big Perm, good to have you here. I also carried the best tech Swordfish, but in orange and black. Look at that. Look at that. Great minds thinking alike. We have Dave and Big Perm carrying the Swordfish. Kep McNessar, good to see you here, sir. I was just in the mood for clip points. Love to hear that. Carried a Gitano, a Finch Drifter in blue micarta. Got mine right here. A Bear Forest Knives GT EDC, awesome little fixed blade, and an Eldris. That's right. Ketmook, along with Max the Maker and JN, are Eldris, daily Eldris carriers, which I think is cool. Red Astrochan says Manix 2 in Rex 45. That is Rex 47. I love doing that with my kids, like getting something just a little bit wrong, and it drives them nuts. Ned Knives, good to see you here, Ned. Spyderco PM2, Sage, lightweight, M4, and Chaparral, lightweight today. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you too, sir. Make it a fun and safe one. Safe and fun. We'll end on fun. Mike Oxlong says, today I carried the Spyderco Dragonfly 2 in VG10. Good old VG10. That's what most of my Spydercos are in. With greens, but here you have to class it up with the green Zome handles, or is that Zome? Because it comes from that process is Japanese. Camo scales, green Zome camo scales, and my green Heretic Manticore in Elmax. I'm starting to see the theme. I love it. I love it. Why was my daughter, a younger one, kept pinching me today, saying, "You're not wearing green," and I was like, and I kept pulling out my this. That is olive drab, and the jacket I wear is olive drab. I'm like, I got green. It's just not your festive. It's not Kelly green, which is incidentally one of my absolute favorite colors. I love Kelly green. Kane A, good to have you here, Kane. Good evening, fellow knife nerds. Protect Terzuola ATCF, just what I was talking about before. Really want to get that knife. Skiff Drifter, what do you know? I'd love to have that one. And a Romano Lanny's clip for today. Very nice carry, sir. We have some class acts here with us. K Mason, Rex 45, burnt orange. G10 native 5 for all this month. I love that. And I sigh heavily at the thought of burnt orange because that's just one of my favorite flavors. I love the colors of fall. I love fall. I love the colors of fall. I love burnt umbers and siennas and oranges and reds and Indian red, all those colors. I love them. And maybe that's where I take the handle colors next. Anyway, the knife that got me into the hobby and community. One knife per month. Hashtag one of my influenced by Rusty Knife Lover. Very nice. I have not done that yet, but I should. One knife for a month. That doesn't mean I can't carry that doesn't mean I can't fiddle with other knives. I just can't carry other knives. And does that mean you don't use other knives too? I mean, obviously in the kitchen, that's all bets are off. But I mean, say you're carrying that Rex 45 and you're carrying that Manix, but you also take a couple of other knives with you in your bag. Can you play with them? Let me know. Tony Kim says, hey, y'all. Hey, Tony Kim. Good to have you here. Oh, yes. I loved this. Carried my Uliza and BGM and Deca today. Yeah, Tony just got the Uliza. He indicated that he was not familiar with that knife until he saw me. I guess we talked. I carried it and presented it a couple of weeks back. He loved it. He finally got his mitts on one, and man alive, that is such a cool knife with that deep recurve. Love it. I'm glad you're happy with it, sir. Gary, good to see you here, Gary. Looking sharp. Kaiser T1 in my pocket. The Kaiser T1 was designed by Heinrich Uliza, the guy who designed Uli Hennecke, the guy who designed the Spyderco Uliza. So that's kind of interesting that 2 comments in a row have people carrying knives totally different, came out in kind of different eras, almost designed by the same obscure German designer. I love it. James Moore, good to see you here, James. Got my chamois with brass dust, carbon fiber scales, and Zerk standoffs. That sounds gorgeous. I do love that chamois design. And with those brass accents, that sounds lovely. The collection is precariously close to 400. So probably time to do some weeding. Okay. All right, Dave. I would like the right of first refusal, olive drab green. Yeah. Olive drab. Yeah, like this, olive drab. Like army green. But Dave, send a list. If you're weeding, who knows? I might be your gardener or one of them. I would might love some of the knives on that list. Then again, I know you and I. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Not always the quickest, I gotta say, but hey, it's late. Tony Kim says, man, I want a black Talon to go along with my civilian. These are sweet. I think they still make these, Tony. I think they still make these. You have a sweet collection, by the way, because after you sent me that Instagram message, I scrolled through you got some sweet stuff. I think we have very, very similar tastes. Hero Stick says, today's carry. Oh, sorry. My eyes are dry. But I don't have dry eye. That is an invention of marketers. Today's carry got the new Glow Rhino Lightbringer, Migaron Knives Acri. Love that. That's a cool looking knife. And the Picaroon Tools Mutineer. That's a cool name. But what's the Glow Rhino? Glow Rhino. Oh, wait. No, I don't know what that is. Is that a flashlight? Max, good to see Max the Maker here. EDC today, CQC 11K. That's the one that looks like a Skinner, right? Those Kershaw Emersons are awesome, just like the Kershaw ZTs were awesome. Used to cut sunchokes, carrots, and cucumbers for picnic lunch. That's nice. Also used to cut plastic straps and lunch 2 apples. That sounds like an idyllic day. MKM Isanzo used to cut open a box. That's one of those little ones, I think, right? Man, I like the way Max always kind of details what he's done with his knives during the day. I do apologize. Buddha Flash, good to see Buddha Flash here, a practitioner of Kali. Good to see. Good evening, Bob. Carried the Spyderco Canis today. That's perfect for your little intro there. The Canis. What a cool and combative little knife. Kelly McCain. Is he the guy who designed it? What a cool knife. I would like to get that, but perhaps I would change the handle material if possible. Well, I know it's possible, but that's picking nits on a knife I don't even have. But nice choice, sir. Michael Morgan says the Airlight, compared to other knives, I have to force myself to carry it, if that's what you mean, Bob. But it's good. It's a good size knife for 3.5 ounces, or for 3 ounces, razor sharp and triad-lac. So yeah, I like it. Interesting. Okay, so it doesn't get your heart racing, but it's a solid, excellent choice for a knife that you're going to use. Carried an Arctic Storm PM2. I like that Arctic Storm. Kind of similar to my coining. What did I call this? Thunderhead blue. This sort of blue they put on a lot of the G10 on these some of these Kubis and other Chinese knives. I'm very fond of that color blue. I prefer it to the royal blue that was sort of de rigueur for a while. I do like this much better. And yes, it is called Thunderhead blue. Bob, Lonely Stacker says, Bob, because my necklace has a British gold sovereign coin on it. Oh, so I definitely wouldn't want that taken off my body without a little blood, whether it be mine. Yep. Well, I cannot blame you, sir. Lonely Stacker. Mike Flamian, good to have you here, sir. Oh, that's right. Oh, man. Okay. Mike Flamian carries Randall knives on the regular, which I don't know anything about Mike Flamian, where he lives or what his lifestyle is, but I love it. Randall, M16 fixed with Victorinox Cadet on keychain and Spyderco Arc Necker. So that's this one, right? I think which the 16. It's got the number 1 blade on the 16, which is traditionally, I think, like a spear point serrated dive knife with the handle that's similar to the 14 attack with the finger grooves. Uh, One of my prized fixed blades. I love this thing. And Mike's just kind of walking around with it on his hip. I think that's awesome. I wish that my job tolerated such a dress code, but dress code it should be. Everyone should carry at least a 7-inch knife on their hip to work in this office. Walt Gilbert says, I want a nice Laconico between $200 and $400. Suggestion? I already have the EWC. What about waiting for or looking on the secondary market for the Otter, Sea Otter, the one that he's making right here that they're doing in America for Monterey Bay Knives? And I know that initially, anyway, Ray Laconico was making them himself, and they're still trying to figure out a way to ramp up production and keep it American. But I know those were running about $400 or so. Stasa's got a good video on one he just recently got, I think. That would be a good one. And it's got the classic Ray Laconico lines. If you like him, you will like that knife. So maybe that's something to look at. Mike Flamian says, Koenig Arius for folder. Very nice. Oh, sorry, he says. Yeah. He's saying sorry because he forgot to put that in the last comment. But I'm taking it as, I'm sorry my carry was so sweet. Not only did I carry this, but I also carried a Koenig Arius. Sorry. Nice carry there, man. What was that last one, Jim? I was looking down before Tony came. Anyone want a Warney Deca? I need an excuse to buy a Magna Cut one. Oh, there you go. Anyone need a Warney Cut Deca? Hit up Tony Kim. Blame Dexter. Good to see you, Blame. Good to see you, Dexter. Good to see you, Blame Dexter. What's popping? Carrying my Ultratech Bounty Hunter for St. Patrick's Day. Oh, that's nice. And well, it's a perfect color, right? But that is the Tanto, if I'm not mistaken. And I really want to get an Ultratech Tanto. It can be fully serrated, it can be half serrated, it can have no serrations, but I have decided that I really want that knife. Like if I'm to get another automatic knife besides the ATCF, it would be that an Ultratech with that gorgeous Tanto blade. I just love the Ultratech Tanto. Andrew R., good to have you here, Andrew. Hello, Bob. I want to thank you for introducing me via the Knife Junkie to Dirk Pinkerton and his Smilodons. I've just picked up his latest with the double-edged Tanto blade in CTS XHP. It's a beast. That's awesome. I know Dave just got one too. He got a Smilodon out of this last batch. Those are so cool, man. I really like that knife. That was one of the first Pakal knives I ever saw, was that Smilodon, and I didn't quite understand it. Now, of course, I do. It's like the Miles Davis album Bitches Brew. First it gives you nightmares, and then you understand it, and it's all good. This is a Dirk Pinkerton. This is the Cave Bear. Such a beautiful knife. He I'm sure you will agree, since you just got his Smilodon, that man can grind a blade. He's like, man, and he's very, very well respected by knife makers for his grinding skills, is Dirk Pinkerton. Okay, so let's see. What do you say? Should we give away this knife? I think it's about time. Let's do this. So as I mentioned before, we have this beautiful petrified fish PF PO2, PF-PO2. So beautiful. I love what I didn't go into. I talked about the handle and how comfortable it was. Even though this looks sort of geometric, it fits the hand just perfectly. It's got almost a perfectly neutral handle, except the perfect angle here in case you need to cap the top with your thumb, in case you have to uh, use your handhold that way. It's got a deep carry pocket clip, um, kind of shiny there. It's got a lanyard hole, but not too big. But I think the star of the show is this really nicely ground, almost fully flat ground blade with that cool thumb ramp and that amazing jimping. This knife is designed by David Chen, and it is D2 steel. And let's see, it measures in at 1, 2, 3 3/4 inches. This is not a shrinking violet. This is a robust yet classy knife. Very good action, and I love the milling in the handle, and I think that's why people are calling it the magazine. It looks like a magazine. All right, so let me read off who these gentlemen junkies are. Said gentlemen junkies. I'm going to start from the top. It's alphabetical. Or no, it's not. It's semi-alphabetical sometimes. 9198 David. We have Ben Belkin, Byron Kennedy, Caleb Townsend, Edward Sumner, Edwin Callow, Ezekiel Yates, Jared Strasbaugh, Jesse Tellis. We have Jock. We have John Ladner, Kevin Moore, Kevin Seastrom, Larry Elizondo, Martin Gamboa, Mr. Fileto, Mr. Vicey 256, Nathaniel Conway, Reed Martz, Ryan Leitner, Scott Nelson, Sean Curry, Sean M, Tom Kim, and Steele Ovan. Good to have you all here. Good to have you all here on that graphic. I don't know if you're all here with us, but you could be the happy and proud winner of this brand new knife. Designed by David Chen. It is the Petrified Fish PF-PO2. Thank you, Dave, for donating this to the channel. And I have to say, he has given us so many great knives here, and we have passed most of them along to you. A few notable holdovers that kind of made their way into my collection for a while for fostering. This being one of them, the Kubi Vagrant. Such a cool knife. Love this thing. Hammer fist, yes, hammer fist that like button. That's right. Yeah, hammer fist it. Just put a little twist in it. All right, let's do this. Let's get this wheel of destiny up and let's get it spinning, shall we, Jim? Who will win this petrified fish? PF PF-PO2. All right, let's roll in 3, 2, 1. Here it goes. It even sounds like the real thing. And it's Sean Curry. Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Curry has won the new petrified fish. PF-PO2. Sean, congratulations, sir. I will get this in the mail to you. How about that? That's cool, man. I'm very happy to hear that you won this. And I will get this out to you. Promises. I'm going to say Saturday. If I say Friday, which is tomorrow, I just know how it's going to go. It's not going to happen. And if I say I'm going to send it out on Friday, I'm going to be assigned some extra difficult, stressful thing at work that will stymie my ability to do that. So I'm not sending it out tomorrow. And there you have it. Want to congratulate Sean Curry for winning this month's Gentleman Junkie giveaway. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, so let's talk about the knife world. What's on your mind? It's March 2022. We're almost to the end of the first quarter of the year. What have you gotten that you love? What have you not gotten? What are you looking forward to? And I'll get this conversation started because this was something that came out a couple of maybe a month and a half ago. And the sight of it just knocked my socks off. And I really wanted to have it. And then I read the specs and I was like, oh, good. It's just a little too small for me and my tastes and for what it costs. So I don't have to worry about buying that. And then I interviewed Brian Brown on Monday night, and that'll be going up in I think 2 weeks, uh, and he said, "You want some loaners? You wanna check out a couple of my knives?" I'm like, "Yes." And by Wednesday, I had this thing in my hand by yesterday. So I don't know, he, like, put it he sent a raven. He just basically sent a raven, and it came quickly. And I got this thing in hand. This is the Raptor, the Brian Brown Raptor, uh, designed by Brian Brown and manufactured by Riot, and it is one dreamy knife. It is as you can see, it is beautiful. It is beautiful to look at. This one now I'm going to go into greater detail. He sent me a paper with these 3 knives telling me about everything, and I left it on my desk at work. So I'm not going to try and remember what the Damascus is, but there's a beautiful Damascene blade there, and then you got Mokutai, uh, accents, and just a real solid feel. It's almost a 3.5-inch blade, and this thing feels great in my hands. I could see how someone with giant mitts, it might feel a little small. You do have a little extra room here if you want to come choke up. But really, the star of the show is this beautiful double peaked uh, Bowie blade or clip point blade. And it's kind of very reminiscent to me of the knife I saluted with earlier. See that uh, double peak Bowie blade made famous by the MacV SOG style of knife. So yeah, this Brian Brown Raptor is unfortunately that sweet. So that means someday I would like to actually fork out the cash for it. I think they were around 450 or something like that. And I'm sure this one, which is Brian Brown's uh, the gentleman's himself. I'm sure this one costs more with the Mokutai and the Damascus. He sent me 2 other knives to check out. The first was a wee prototype of the Jaeger M, and it is a sweet, very solid chunk of knife. I mean, you can see it's been hollowed out there in the handle, but um, it just has a real chunky, squared off, and comfortable, really builds confidence in hand, inspires confidence. You've got now look at that hollow grind there. Take note of the hollow grind. Okay, so that's the Wii prototype. And then here is a Riot produced Jaeger M, and then a Fanatic Edge put this knurling pattern on it, and then they also put Mokutai accents on it, and then it's got this really cool rounded crowned backspacer that I think is very appealing. But look at this. So Brian Brown will be featured on the interview March 27th. Okay, I knew it was coming up. Okay, so this is the Riot, much better action, I gotta say, but still, it's not guillotine, and this is what I love. It's got a real nicely tuned detent, and it does not just flop back into the handle. To me, that is not always. It's more often than not that is not desirable. I like knowing that something is smooth, but you know, Bob, I had my Jaeger M in your box to check out. I'm going to swap it for another winner. Oh, okay. All right. Cool. I'm glad you tuned in. I'd be Jaeger rich. Hero Sticks. So want that Raptor. I have his little fixed blade as well. Love it. He's such a cool dude, man. I really liked talking with him. Okay, now look at this. Look at that. Look at that hollow grind versus the Wii hollow grind. Let's see if I can. So the Wii is the one on the right, and the Riot is the one on the left. I'm not sure if you can gauge from this angle or from that level of unfocus or focus, but the Riot is radically thinner. It's like it really is. Here, listen. It's like straight razor thin. Here, let me see. Maybe this camera will do it better justice. It's just super thin, and that's one of the things that he talked about. Um, he really thinks a lot of his success with the Jaeger was the grind that he ended up going with, the deep hollow grind. Yeah, these things are amazing. I really, really like them. So I'm asking you, what's on your mind? What are you looking forward to? What have you enjoyed? And for me, what I'm looking forward to is, I think I got to get my hands on this Raptor. I think I have to get myself a Raptor. I love this thing. James Moore says, Bob, I've got a new large ball release knife from Des Horn, a legend, coming soon. Waiting for build to start on a Mitch Clark. I'm unfamiliar with Mitch Clark. Mitch Clark book spot next month. Tactical Knife Invitational and California Custom Knife Show. James, if you don't know, has a really sweet custom collection and really nice high end knives. And since are you going to the Tactical Knife Invitational? And if so, buy a Peter Carey for me, and just, you can keep it, but show it off. I just saw some of the knives on his feed that he's been working on lately for Texas Blade Show, and I think also for TKI. And oh my God, they're stunning. They're stunning. Stunning in a footprint like this, which is already super cool. But the kind of inlay work and the different materials he puts together, a lot of different patterns together, but it's not like Mr. Furley. Tennis knives, Michael says, tennis knives so far this year, favorite's been the Yo Jumbo and the 4-inch Hogue EX01. Civivi Conspirator button lock next. So far with the Civivi button locks, well, the only one I've gotten is this one, the Cogent. And I really like this Cogent. I like this one too because it's got these serrations, and this was the first knife they've ever put serrations on, which is kind of cool. But I think that this is the most interesting to me of the designs of the button locks they've come out with. Okay, so they came out with this one. People went nuts for it, and they're like, okay, we'll come out with like 7 more. No, we'll come out with like 4 more, and they're all going to look like variations on a theme. Whereas this one has this really nice clip point blade. It does not, it's not your, it doesn't have that, it's not your average Civivi design. It's got a different style blade. The handle is this is a cool thing. I'm curious about where they're going to take the button locks. Civivi Conspirator button lock. Neves Knives, $10. Dude, Bob, you're a legend. Hope everyone's doing well. Man, it's great to have you here. I'm always bragging on your edges that I've got on your knives. I'm going to salute you, sir, with, oh yeah, right here, sir. I'm going to salute you. Thank you for that super chat. It's so greatly appreciated. This here is a Bark River Knives V44 Bowie with the Moran style handle, which means it's shaped like a horse hoof, kind of carved beautifully out of micarta. I love this knife. My dad got this for me. I'll always prize it, but also it's just totally badass. This is for you. Thank you, Jared. I really appreciate it, man. Jared Neve, I know he needs no introduction, but he's I talk about the trusted voices. He's definitely top of my list. Good to have you here, man. Ty Addiction says, I'm looking forward to the Todd Fisher Archangel I bought today to arrive. Okay, that's what you're saying. You're looking forward to the Todd Fisher Archangel I bought today to arrive. I'm looking forward to that because I'm trying to think of what that is. The Todd Fisher Archangel. It sounds a little out of my league, which I like. It's like you got to have things that are attainable, and then you have to have things just on the horizon, something to run away from, something to run towards. Buddha Flash, I got a book spot on David Sharp's books. Nice, coming up in a few months for a Loveless Design fixed blade. Should I go for broke? I know that David Sharp, he does really nice. What is it called? Is it the New York style? It's the Loveless. Yeah, you should go for broke. I'll stop right there. I'm not sure I've ever seen a David Sharp's sub-hilt fighter, which to me is the ultimate Loveless design. But that one that has the handle with the integral guard, and it's a double edge, and it looks It's a double-edged clip point that looks similar to a sub hilt. If you just a sub hilt fighter blade, except you just truncated it and made it easier to carry. That's the one that I always see David Sharps make, and I think they're amazing. And I cannot wait to see that Buddha Flash. Byron says the gripper. Oh, that is so cool. I want to get my hands on that thing. That's Brass Brigade's knife. The Nimble XL. That's also another cool one. But the brown. Oh, okay. For a second, Byron, I was thinking this was your EDC for a second, but we're talking about the knives you want to get. The gripper, yes, I want that. The nimble, I appreciate it, but not a knife for me, I don't think. The brown raptor, most definitely. The Gungnir. What the hell is that? That sounds like it's got to be something from that German company. That makes the huge folders, all sort of Nordic themed. The Summit, that is a cool one. The Fox Knives Summit, we had that on the channel here not too long ago. The Max Ace Sandstorm, another beautiful double peaked clip point blade, and the Balance. Yeah. And then the Hinderer Project X. That's probably top of my folder list, the Project X, and I keep seeing it up for sale on secondary market for seemingly reasonable prices, but I guess I'm not as reasonable. I don't know why I haven't just jumped on it. I'm trying to save money. I'm not trying. I am saving money, despite a recent purchase, which I'll show off right now. But trying to save money for this project I'm working on, and I have actually the money saved for it, but I'm also expecting that there will be overruns and this and that, and I'll show it off when it's in motion here. Blame Dexter says, I've mentioned it before, but I really want the Winter Blade Cofactor. It makes the knife nut in me go bananas, and the fidgeter in me go bananas. Also want the glider company Arctic. What's that? I don't know what that is. But the Winter Blade knives are so cool. I can't remember the name of the guy who makes them. What's that gentleman's name? But I've been we DM back and forth. We send each other dad jokes. He's got some really good dad jokes. I invited him onto the show, and he it's not his kind of thing, but he's a super cool guy. And man, he's doing innovative, cool stuff with magnets in knives. Caleb Townsend, I've been looking a lot at some higher end fixed blades for general outdoor use, kayaking, fishing, caving, exploring. Caving, didn't you see the Descent? SE and tops are cool, but I like the fancy stuff. So what does that mean? What's fancy stuff to you when it comes to fixed blades? Because fancy stuff to me when it comes to fixed blades, I certainly wouldn't want to take into the bush or into a cave. But I'm curious what you're talking about. Just got my Adam just got his Bastinelli Mako folder. That's a beautiful folder. As usual, Bastinelli, he can't design ugly stuff. Very nice. Looking forward to Top Storm Vector, currently back ordered. That's that giant sax. Man, that's Adam, you can take that on your raids with you. That's a raiding knife. Redacted says, the Conspirator looks great. The Micarta looks wonderful. The Conspirator. Yeah. Okay, we're talking about the button lock. Kane A, I've got a grail coming next week. The Jared Price Mini Bowie with denim micarta and blackwash CTX blade. Ooh, that sounds cool. I'm going to write it down so I can look it up. I should have been doing this all night. JRP Bowie, that sounds cool. Man. Yeah. Saving money can I'm not talking about saving money. I'm talking about saving knife budget money. It can be frustrating because you can kind of feel like the rest of the world is passing you by while you're saving up for this one thing. Hero Stick says, looking forward to the Luft Avant, the Self-Reliant Knives LeBlanc, CKF Rotten Designs Evo. I want one of those so badly. And every time they come out, they're more expensive and cooler than ever. I just want one of those so badly. Sorry. Finch new releases, Reciprocity in particular, Vosteed knives, Bellamy, and Nightshade. I have some sort of Vosteed knife coming my way. I'm not sure what it is. It might even be one of their kitchen knives. Oh, okay. Let me show you this. Nesmuk, I'm looking forward to those Finch releases too. Yeah. Finch. They just do such cool stuff. All right, I showed this before, so I teased at it, so I'll show it to you. Dave hit me to this. I love the Preta-2, designed by K Maxrom. It's a concept knife. I love K Maxrom's designs. K Mason says, speaking of K's, followed directly by an M. I've been looking for a small EDC fixed blade. That Topps Silent Hero 4 looks like it will fit the bill. I think a taco style sheath and soft loops will appendix carry great. Yes. We just talked about the small Silent Hero, and it looks really cool. The way it's set up in the picture, it looks like that sheath might be a little broad, even though it's a taco, because they built in this thumb ramp, but instead of like just curling back the Kydex, they've kind of built a ramp. But the whole thing is much smaller than you expect, I think. If you look at it and you sort of scale the handle, it's only about 8 inches when open. So I think that's a great idea. Let me know how that works. And also, I wonder how that work in the waistband, because it's got a good, it looks like the handle might be good for it. Okay, so I got this Preta-2 concept. So they just came out with it in my Carta. And Dave told me that he got his a White Mountain Knives. So that's where I went. And I assumed that it was a White Mountain Knives exclusive. And then he got back to me and said, you mentioned that in your video, but I have not seen anywhere that it's an exclusive. And I sort of assumed that since this Kaiser XL beg lighter button lock is an exclusive from them, and it's got the similar setup, that this too is an exclusive, but I have no evidence of that. So I'm going to stop saying it. Though when I looked it up, it's the only place I could find it. So I don't know what that means, but it is the full-size Preta-2. Full-size knife is the Preta-2, and this one is in clip. I have the titanium. I got this a couple of weeks back, and I've just loved it. This is a great knife. I love the ergonomics. The flat ground blades are super thin and sharp. I've only used this new one a couple of times since I've been home today because it just came in today. But the Tanto I've used a lot over the last 2 weeks and carried it a lot, and I really am quite impressed with it. I love it. And now this is awesome. And actually it works even better with the thumb studs because you're not exerting any pressure on the lock bar. So just an awesome knife. Look at the beautiful shape of that blade. Concept just kills it. They're so good. I love the knives. Well, I don't love all the knives they're making, but the ones, I have 4 of them now, and they're really nicely built. And so I can say with confidence, if you like the design and it's made by Concept, you'll probably like the knife. Here is just for size comparison and for comparison in general, another K Maxrom design. This is the Pelican, also made by Concept, at a 3-inch blade. 9198 David says, I would like to get that like to get an XM24 or Arius this year. Just need to get faster when they drop. Isn't that the bummer? Hey, David, I have seen a decent amount of XM24 Bowies on the secondary market, and pretty much I only mostly look at blade forums these days. I've seen them. They're around, and for somewhat reasonable price, if you consider the retail reasonable. Blame Dexter says the Glider Co. Arctic is a Balisong trainer. Oh, right. Oh, I just saw that like on Instagram like moments ago, and who did I? Maybe it was I don't remember where I saw it, but I now I remember. 120 buckaroos and you get aluminum handles and bushings. Is that good or bad? I do not have much of an idea about Balisong. economics, if you will. Mike Emler, good to see you here. Mike Emler, we were just talking about you. Someone in the audience is carrying the sea snake today, a fine choice. And as usual, I have my Kiridashi just hanging out. I've stropped this thing. I mean, it's already wickedly sharp, and I've just stropped this nervously into a paper thin chisel ground blade. Love this thing, Mike. Thanks again. And it's got a cool little fob. Todd Carr, good to have Todd Carr with us. Evening, sir. What are you carrying, man? Let us know. Let me show you another recent acquisition. This one I've been waiting to get for years and years. Mike Emler, I'm stropping my daily user knives right now. It is one of the most calming, and I love stropping knives. I also love the scene in Inglourious Bastards when they're just about to go on the into the bar for that infamous bar scene, and the German guy who's in their crew is just sitting there calmly stropping his blade, and the British character comes in and says and looks concerned, and he says something like. We need you to remain calm. And the guy stropping looks at him and says, I'm calm. And he's got his belt looped around his boot, and he's pulling it tight with one arm and stropping his dagger. It's very, very cool. Anyway, is that what you're doing, Mike? I'm sure you've got a better strop than that. Okay, so this knife is one I've wanted for years. I used to have one, gave it to a friend, and then always kind of regretted it. Gave it to him in a drunken moment of generosity, and walked away, and then always regretted it. This is the Peacekeeper by Cold Steel. This is a discontinued dagger. This is the smaller of the two at 5.5 inch blade. They also made a 7-inch version with a longer handle, the trainer for which I have right here. So I would ultimately love to get this one too, because I like the extra handle size on this for a forward grip. Forward grip on this one, you're pretty much putting the pommel of the handle in your palm, and I don't really like that too much. But this knife is really nice in reverse grip. Came razor sharp, except the point is a little bit blunted, and I actually did consider sending this off to Emler or Neve and seeing if they could fix the tip. And then I was like, I tried it on cardboard, and with barely any pressure, it just glides right up to the middle of the blade. So it's sharp enough, and I'm just glad to have it in my collection. I love daggers, and I've always was fond of this dagger, and then had it and gave it away and always regretted it. So it was nice to see it up for sale at a very, very reasonable price. So that's number 2. And then this thing sent to me by Bone Daddy Blade Works is called the Axis. I showed this off on the supplemental last week or yesterday. And how do you like that? Last week or yesterday? Time, it just melds together. So this thing, this company reached out to me, Bone Daddy Blade Works, after we featured them on a segment, a Knife Life News segment last year and a half ago. They were just making this, and they did a Kickstarter. It got fully funded, and this was the result. And it's a slab of D2 steel that is meant to, dude, that Axis is bizarre and amazing. I would agree. So the whole idea behind this was inspired by the sort of uni-tool or multi-tool nature of ancient knives, used to skin game, used to cut food and butcher animals, but also tied to stakes and used as axes. And so that's what this thing is. This is really, I mean, if you look at it, it looks like a Tanto knuckle. It looks like something, like a melee weapon. But it is a 1/4 inch thick slab of D2 steel, very sharp on the edges, though, as you could imagine, very thick behind that edge. And it is a hand axe. So using this little trigger area here and gripping like this, You can use it to do light chopping. So you can chop a tree down, a little sapling down, and then you can make a haft out of it. So you can hang this and have an axe. So you can use it like a knife. There are like 10 different handholds. You can use it like a knife like this. They say you can't use it like knuckles, but I say you can. I think that's just to indemnify themselves, but I think you can use this to like knuckles. You can hold it a variety of different ways, and then you take, if you want to use it as an axe, which is it's raison d'etre, you just take I had a stick and then I moved it. You just take a stick, like a sapling that's about this wide, because this and this become a forward, backward, fore and aft stabilizer of the blade, so it doesn't do this. You take that sapling, you split it, and then slide it up so there's about 2 inches of sapling above, and then the split, and then the haft comes down this way, and then you tie it on the top and through all these holes, and you get an axe out of it. And it's I think it's a great idea. I think it's really cool. I very much appreciate the idea behind it of this sort of modern day take on the ancient knife. And it's not just through the surface treatment and to like sort of make it look like it's old, but the whole concept behind it is that one tool, the way they have this set up. I mean, the edges are stout enough that you can pound on them, but they're also situated and sharp enough, keen enough to be used like a blade. This thing can be used like a blade, like a hatchet, like an axe. And so I'm gonna take it out on the weekend and see how it works. They have a video on their website that's pretty cool. Shows you how to do all this stuff, and I'm gonna take it out and really bang on it, see how it works. So that's the Axis by Bone Daddy Blade Works. By the way, it also comes in a has this nice Kydex sheath. Josh Worth, good to see you here, Josh. Pleasure having you. And then it also comes in a box with a carabiner and some other cool stuff. Hero Stick says, on my mind, knife enthusiasts becoming makers, a fad, a trend, something everyone is going to try. I've seen home runs, great swings and misses, and varied responses from the community. Thoughts? Um, Interesting, because yeah, that is a huge trend, and as I've said before, I'm saving up and working on a project with a knife company, but it's not a knife, and I feel like it's necessary to say that every time I'm like, well, I haven't bought much because I'm saving up for a project. I don't want everyone to assume either excitedly, oh, Bob's coming out with a knife, or the opposite, because it's not it. But I think you're right. I think we've seen a lot of great swings and misses, and I can only imagine that that's due to market saturation, because these are knives that are being manufactured by excellent manufacturers of knives, and they're also being designed by knife enthusiasts who have very particular tastes that most people around them share. Um, so but they also come out at some expense. They're expensive to have made, and people want to at least recoup their costs and have a little bit to put into the next run so they can keep growing their business or growing their knife venture. So I can only imagine that it's through saturation, it's that some of those misses occur, because people just have a limited budget, and when you're going to fork out a lot of money for a knife, you want to really like it, and or you want to really support that person. So overall, I think it is an absolutely amazing time to be a knife lover, to be a knife enthusiast, because this is a possibility, this trend. And by using the word trend, I'm not making a judgment. I think it's amazing that we can do this. The more access, the more capability we have, the better. It's just what's done with it. And what I've seen so far, like Luft Concepts and the Mach 51 and the Lufthansa Savant, the Mach 51, the Brass Brigade. I mean, there are a lot of really cool knives that are coming out that way, and some of them win and some of them lose. But I think the fact that they're coming from these makers and from these collectors, I think can only be a good thing. It's just not everyone can rise to the top. There's something called the Pareto principle that says, to those who have everything, all will be given, and to those who have nothing, everything will be taken. Todd Carr says, today's carry Leatherman Surge, Gerber Dime, Cold Steel SR1 Light. I need to get one. I need to get an SR1, and the light will do for sure. The SRM, the SRM 9201, the CJRB, more Malia, so that's the large Malia, fifth pocket for blades. Very nice. So that Cold Steel SRM, is that Tanto? That's a particularly nice looking Tanto. Or is that a clip point? It's Cold Steel, of course, the 5.5 inch. One is the smaller version. Yep. Yes, indeed. Agent Orange Peel, good to see you here, sir. I love the Peacekeeper. It feels so alive in hand. Yeah. And actually, I'm so whoa. I'm so used to using this trainer that I was thinking when I got this, I forgot that it came in 2 sizes, and I was so excited to see it, kind of like when I bought the Troodon, that I forgot to really read up on it and check the specs. Not that I wouldn't have gotten it, but there is a substantial size difference. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I really like this knife, and even the Kraton. And the next is the Taipan. 20 years I've wanted the freaking Taipan, and I don't know why I've never gotten it. One of the best things about being a gentleman junkie is the bonus content. Was taken aback seeing the Bone Daddy earlier this week. Oh, cool. I agree with you, Hero. And we did not arrange this beforehand, but yeah, that is one thing you get as a patron at any level is some extra video stuff. Looks like it would make a good gardening spade. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's got a lot of potential, this thing. I really like this aspect. I like that you can do your initial chopping this way before you can get it mounted. You know what I mean? It's not like if you just had a regular axe head, you'd have to hold it like this. I need that axis, says 9198 David. Hey, go to Bone Daddy Blade Works. They got them. They're excited. This is a long time coming for them. And yeah, go check them out. I'm going to hopefully have him on the show, the gentleman who designed this, sometime soonish. Can't help but think, Hero Stick says, can't help thinking someone cast a spell on a thick slice of Swiss cheese, transforming it into a knife, and it totally worked. #Axis. Right on, man. I'm glad you like it. Tree Stabbing Troy. How's it going, man? Good to have you here. It's the ultimate Tanto. I know. Yeah, it's the ultimate Tanto while being the ultimate Nuck. Brass knuckles. I want to get a classic pair of brass knuckles. I do. If anyone knows I follow plenty of people who make them and do tiny little drops. Like I was trying to get in on the McNeese aluminum knuckles, and I'm not fast enough to get these things when they drop. So anyone know where I can just get a pair of brass knuckles? Caleb Townsend says, I've been machining a bunch of parts. Maybe Caleb can make one for me. I've been machining a bunch of parts lately to customize knives, stuff like inlays or scales. Also been doing a bunch of Swiss Army knife mods. Dude, that's very cool. You should come on here some night and show us some of the stuff you've done. And that'd be really cool. There are a number of people here who like custom knives. That this could be something that's very cool. Michael Morgan says, need a community OEM to take all these. Yes, to take on all these in the US. I got $14. Who's in? I think I'll sell this, get $35, and I'll join you. KF Boston, good to see you here, KF. Bob and all, why are we all awake? Yeah, tell me about it. I've had the Goodfellas week all week. Like, got to take the silencers over to Paul's, and then I got to go here, got to go there. Then I got to prep the drugs for smuggling and all that. Man, it's been crazy. So I don't know how I'm still awake. Blade Ogre says, "Can't wait for the Jack Wolf knives to finally drop." There, it's. I know the date, and it's right around the corner. We'll definitely be buying the Benny's clip, uh, since love the Lanny's clip, and they are extremely hard to get. Yes, and he's gonna have green, black, and tan micarta and fat carbon handles. So he has 4 handle options. The fat carbon is a new option I'm really excited about. Michael Morgan says, Bob, M3 Tactical, uh, they got knuckles and defensive spikes. M3 Tactical. Michael, are they, here, I'll just write them down, but are they IG or are they, do they have an, forget it. I'm sorry, Jim, can you put that back up? My mind just let go of that information in the meantime. M3 Tactical for knuckles. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'd love to have a pair of them, actually. Uh, you know, for double-handed fisticuffs. Man. All right. So, Todd Knife and Tool. You guys know Todd Knife and Tool. You remember Zelrig 42? He used to do a lot of YouTube videos and talking about knives and grinds and a lot of the technical aspects of knives and their design. He and his brother, he is Terrell, and his brother Seth started Todd Knife and Tool 4 or 5 years back, and they've had a bunch of knives made with Best Tech, many of them premium titanium and high-end steel folders, futuristic. I had a couple of them and had to sell them for the purchase of other knives, but I called them my space age Viking folders. They had just these really space age looks to them, but the 2 that I had were just decidedly Sachs or Wharncliffe style blades. In any case, they are known for their more high-end things. This is their first budget EDC with Best Tech, and this is from Todd Knife and Tool. They maintain some of that sort of industrial feel, but they're going with G10. That's a 3-inch 14C28N blade. Flipper, you can see that little choil area just west of the flipper tab. That looks like a nice little flat space to choke up, though it's a 3-inch knife. I mean, I don't know how far you have to get up close to a 3-inch knife, but it's a feature there, and it comes in a number of different colors, and I think it's pretty cool. Though I don't like it as much as their more premium designs. This just the overall shape is not as appealing, but Best Tech makes great knives, and Todd Knife and Tool, those guys, they are very particular and fastidious and in their designs, and this is kind of exactly what we're talking about. Todd Knife and Tool is one of the first groups to do that, first YouTuber enthusiast to kind of break out and make his own knives, well, with his brother. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I like the blade. I'm not so sure I like the handle, and the ricasso area of this, but I like the blade. And again, like I said, Best Tech, it's hard to go wrong. Their builds are so awesome and robust. So, any thoughts? Any thoughts at all? What are you guys looking forward to? Does that thing appeal to you? Does that yellow knife? The marijuana goes to the top drawer. The cocaine goes in the middle drawer. The heroin goes in the bottom drawer. What movie? I don't know. I don't know. Is that nah? They wouldn't have used the word marijuana in Pulp Fiction. I don't know. What is that? You got to let me know. That is actually not even ringing a bell. But actually, don't let me know. Let's see if someone else knows in the next couple of minutes, and then if not, put in the chat what it is. Tree stab Goonies never say die. Tree Stab and Troy. Somehow I don't think it was Goonies, but could be. You could be right. It was Mouth to Consuala. Huh? It was mouth. All right, I got to let you know. Unlike many people, like my wife and my brother-in-law, I only saw Goonies for the first time like 2 years ago, and we're watching it. My my brother-in-law comes over, and we do old movies with Tio, and he shows my daughters movies that they should know from the 80s and 90s, and Goonies was one of them. And my wife and her brother were just, repeating every line and forecasting every line, and isn't this great, and looking over at me, and I'm like, this is good, man, this is good stuff. But it wasn't part of my childhood. I was the youngest, and I had an older brother and sister, and by the time Goonies came out, I was like, I'm gonna try and watch whatever rated R thing my brother's watching. Goonies, I couldn't be bothered. So had to catch up with it in my old age. Yep. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Jim floats up the hat. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. I like saying that, and we'll see if you do. Let's do a knife fight, shall we? We have an EDC knife fight challenge here. And the challenge is American Tanto versus Drop Point for EDC. KF Boston says, I was asked by a good friend born in Ukraine, and he asked me to ask the knife community for help filling a shipment of first aid and knives, primarily fixed blades with partial serrations. IG post soon. Cool. Look, I will look forward to that, and send it over my way too. I'd be interested in checking that out. I might have something I can donate. Look out, 11:56. Yeah, send that to Bob at thenifejunkie.com. Look out, 11:56.9. Good to have you here. Look out, 11:56.9. Rambo put us all onto knives. Yeah, that is true. Rambo and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Predator did it for me even more than Rambo. Of course, I loved Rambo and loved to see how the knives changed from movie to movie. And I was a big Gil Hibben fan back in the day. And of course, Lyle, who made the first one. But the real movie, the movie that really did it for me was Predator, with those big, absolutely. Thank you, says KF Boston. My pleasure, man. Thanks for looking out. The everyone in Predator, everyone in Arnold's squad had two knives. They had one that looked kind of like a Rambo knife, if you will, Rambo knife, a big clip point survival blade with a saw on the back, and a giant, ricasso and a big guard and a hollow handle, and that was like their for utility. And then they had those massive sort of double-edged space age kind of looking blades with the sub hilt. Those things were cool. That movie, Predator, when Billy stands on the log and cuts his chest with that knife I just described and goes, ah, and the Predator comes in and just kills him. That scene in particular, man, that really solidified it. I mean, I was already a knife junkie, but that was like, I gotta make for some more knives here, man. He asked for 10 fixed blades that won't break when used. Yeah. That might be also an interesting thing to reach out to a knife center with, also, or something like that. That scene with Billy, says Buddha Flash. Yeah, no kidding. KF Boston, maybe it might be worth your while to hit up David C. Anderson, maybe, or someone at one of those places. They might have stuff on the shelves, like SRKs or something like that. Not too expensive, but stocky and built to kick butt, and built to, just to be used as hard as possible. Okay, American Tanto versus Drop Point. I'm not going to use any sort of I'm just going to use my words. No, if I can get them out. No visual aids. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. The drop point is the most universal blade for a reason. The drop point the drop point is the best of all worlds in blades. It has a point to pierce, it has a belly behind the point to slice, and it has and to slash, and then it has a straight part of the blade that's used for all those other types of cutting. So we have a curve, we have a straight, we have a point, and all three of these come together to make the most universally useful knife. That is why the drop point is by far the most prevalent of pocket knife blades. There's nothing you can't do with a drop point, but there are things that you cannot do with an American Tanto. For instance, on an American Tanto, you cannot use the belly. Some American Tantos, granted, have a slight curve in the straightaway, in the straight portion of the blade, but that's a negligible amount for belly style cutting. That sort of skinning motion. So clearly, the drop point is in its place of prominence for a reason. It has, from time immemorial, been the most universally usable blade, and so that is why it is the superior blade. That was a very good argument. Very good argument, Bob. However, there is something you can't do with a drop point. You cannot use the front tip of it to scrape a parking sticker off of your windshield like a razor blade. This is the beauty part of an American Tanto. You have two blades in one. You have 2 points on one blade. How can you go wrong with that? And if you get an Americanized Tanto that is hollow ground on the main portion, then you have an incredible slicer and a long life, long sharpening life with that hollow grind. But then you also have the flat wedge-like tip that is far more robust. So you can engage in delicate activities, and you can engage in the roughest of activities. And that point where the delicate in the hollow grind meets the robust in the front wedge-like flat grind is a secondary point, and that secondary point can be used for all sorts of utility chores. So clearly, the American Tanto for EDC it makes greater sense because it has a lot more utility to offer. And with that, I will rest my case. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I know what we need, Jim. We need an applause sound effect right there, so I don't feel this awkward, thing right afterward. Love Tantos, says Yoda Dugs. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Here, let me show you these Tantos here. I love interestingly shaped Tantos. Now, I love this. This is the Prêt-à-Tout by designed by K. Maxram and produced by Concept, and it draws inspiration from the Umnumzan Tanto from Chris Reeve Knives. So 2 very interesting Tantos with similar but different blade shapes. Today I carried one of my favorite other Tantos. This one, man, I do love that drop point or clip point swedged Tanto. Very cool. And then I think I have one more out here. Oh, no, that's a reverse Tanto. Just kidding. I take it back. Jan, generally prefer Japanese style Tantos, but I can't deny the second tip on the American style. Yeah. The Japanese style looks more graceful, and it has a sweep that you might find more useful. Look at this thing. Oh, this is just beautiful. And I forgot, I left my SOCOM in the drawer, but wow, those are great Tantos, says Hero Sticks. Well, thank you, Hero. I say thank you as if I made them, but I curated them. Tree Stab and Troy is just applauding. He just sees all these gorgeous Tantos and he's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That is the stuff. Let me see. Oh, I got one more. What do you know? And it's also a K Max ROM. This Tanto is awesome. K Max ROM, French knife designer. Man, he does some really cool stuff. Now I want to get his Pelican that Kaiser made. Just to round it out. Yoda Doug says, "Yeah, I've noticed those Tantos are almost a drop point." Yeah, they really are. And then it's really hard to see with the dull black coating, but you can see the swedge. So you can see the swedge there. So on the version that was an S35, you see grind lines going north to south here, and then changing angle and there, and then you saw it on the swedge. Just beautiful. I got to send you my Direware V5 recurve Tanto. I love Direware. I love Direware knives. Thank you, man. I would love to check it out. I would love that. Miss a pass Thursday Night Knives. Watch it on replay. Byron Kennedy says, Bob, I don't have applause, but I can bring the beer and bourbon if you bring the Randall Fighter. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. I like the way you party, Byron. Yeah, so check out any that you miss. I think I feel myself. I think I see the station on the horizon. I think I'm winding down here, but I want to know if anyone has anything last to say, anything on your mind about the knife world coming up, anything that you see coming that you really want to get. Adam Boyd says there are at least two favorite. There are two of my favorite blade shapes, but I have one Tanto and no drop points, so I'll go with American Tanto. I'm with you. I mean, you know, you save the drop points for the hoi polloi. No, I'm just kidding. I have plenty of drop points, and I love them. Look at this. This is a drop point, but it's an interesting, beautiful drop point. Sometimes they can get a little, I don't know, domesticated. Let's just say that. All right, everybody. Well, I think that does it for me. Be sure to check out this Sunday's Coming episode. It's number 302, 302 episodes we've done so far. And this one is with the Knife Modders. You know them, Lindy Lou and Richie B, making beautiful knives out of awesome knives. This was my Monterey Bay Knives Turbo. They anodized it, did the blade, sharpened the blade, did some really cool work on the backspacer and on the clip. Just turn this thing into something great, into something I really truly love and is uniquely mine. They come on the show. We have an awesome conversation. They're charming, and they are the knife modding power couple. And so check them out. And happy St. Patrick's Day. Also, check out the podcast on the podcast apps. You will not see Thursday Night Knives on the podcast apps, but you will see the interview shows and the midweek supplemental. And that's what we like. All righty. Well, that does it for me. For Jim, working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying, until next time, please, people, don't take dull for an answer.